Okay, this video presentation was made by me, and me. Hey, my name is Christian Todd, and today we're going to be learning about fracking, also known as how energy resources relate to hydraulic fracturing. Super interesting, right? I know. So guess what? Normally I would say Merriam-Webster defines fracking as, but Merriam-Webster's boring, and Google's way easier. So, Google defines fracking as the process of injecting liquid at high pressure into subterranean rocks, boreholes, etc., so as to force open existing fissures and extract oil or gas. Yeah, there's no way I'm remembering that all for one take. This technology has existed since the 1940s, but its use has only really boomed in the past few decades as our more accessible sources of natural gas have declined. You know, because we keep using them. What does that mean when we've become so reliant on fossil fuels, especially when our society prioritizes monopolistic, unenvironmentally friendly energy resources, also known as MOOFR, over renewable resources like solar, nuclear, and wind-based ones? Well, to explore that, let's figure out what the process of fracking involves. First, we put a really long hole in the ground, just like, there you go. First, we put a really long hole in the ground through layers of sedimentary rock. This is called a well bore. Hope I'm not well boring you. Yeah, okay, I'll stop. We go down several hundred meters and reach what we've been waiting for, a shale rock formation. Shale is a type of sedimentary rock that is characterized by its fine grain, due to it being composed of dried mud, clay, and other sediments. Lucky us, this rock formation also tends to hold fossil fuels. So, once we're inside with the initial drill, we make little indentations in the rock in order for it to break apart easier. Later, we pressurize the wellbore in order to fracture the rock, which releases the stored goodies deep inside. Now, fracking doesn't just involve using water. Pretty often, sand and other particulates are used in order to increase fracking efficiency. So what, sand water? You probably see that at the beach. That can't be bad for you, like, who cares? It's just sand. Unless you're Anakin Skywalker, who cares?
It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
Well, what if I told you sand wasn't the only thing we were mixing in? That's right. Sometimes we use acids, chemicals, and disinfectants. Now the thing is that the water being used for fracking is kinda terrible for animals and humans to be around. Not only can fracking water poison local water supplies, but it can occasionally contain radioactive material, which honestly just isn't good for anyone. Luckily, the well bores are normally insulated with steel and cement, but accidents do happen, which can lead to underground water contamination. It's not good. So what are we drilling for? People don't just drill holes in the ground for no reason. Well, unless you're the Underminer, or Mole Man from Fantastic Four. Well, as you may have deduced from my previous statements, fracking is usually the process of drilling for natural gas. Many of you may know that historically, as in before fracking, we harvested natural gas by finding large reserves of it underground. The thing is that there's a lot of natural gas in large reserves, but there used to be a lot more. So now we have to go down into the earth and break it up in order to release little tiny pockets of air, just in order for us to collectively get a bunch of gas. So all this stuff's underground, right? But how did it get there? Some time ago, biological material was buried underground. Whether it dug there, died and was covered over time, or was buried is inconsequential to our conversation. But the point is that over time, all of that compression and heat created by the immense pressure of simply being underground led to much of that biological material becoming what we know now as fossil fuels. Now, the human race is a bunch of monkeys that also happen to be pyromaniacs, so you know, we have to burn that.
Go ahead.
So natural gases seem to emit less carbon dioxide than fossil fuels like coal, so, you know, that's good, right? Well, actually, the natural gases like methane that fracking may release are considered to be worse for our atmosphere than just carbon dioxide alone. Case in point, a well blowout in Ohio, 2018. The fracking site, which was being worked over by ExxonMobil, had one of the biggest gas leaks in recorded history. Over 60,000 gallons of methane was released into the atmosphere. That's not good.
1031, you have traffic?
Right, on the plane. What plane number?
Another incident, this time in Patagonia, Argentina, a BP-owned company, Pan American Energy, was caught illegally dumping hazardous waste into the environment. A group that I won't even try to pronounce filed a lawsuit, which was very well founded by the way, filed a lawsuit against BP for their illegal dumping. Now you might say, so what? They dumped some sand water. It's not that bad, is it? Well, actually, if you remember some of my statements from earlier, you might remember that sometimes they mix chemicals in. Chemicals aren't generally good for the environment. But even worse, there was a kind of significant amount of radioactive material that was located in the waste.
According to the lawsuit, 500,000 litres of toxic waste arrives at the site every day from nearby extraction sites.
Which, you know, some say might be hazardous for most things' health. I feel like most people don't like growing an extra arm. So yeah, that endangered the local wildlife as well as any locals that would happen upon the site. You know, because the nearest town was only 3 miles away. The dump site contains several large pools that they dumped their waste in. And guess what? The largest of those pools spanned 15 football pitches in length. That's a lot of water. They basically created a new lake. You know, except in this lake, you grow extra appendages if you try to swim in it. Hey mom, check out what I got at the lake. Oh, did you get a big fish, honey? Oh no, I got cancer. Yeah, anyway, moving on. In a county located in China, several major earthquakes were supposedly linked to local fracking. The earthquakes killed 2 people. The fracking may not have caused the earthquakes, but the concerns of the people are still valid, especially considering that fracking basically creates mini earthquakes underground. And fracking has been linked to seismic activity in the past, as shown here. So what should we do now that we know all about fracking? What indeed? It's caused problems for our environment, it's caused death, actual death, but it also drives, like literally drives our economy in like a major way. The going may seem tough, but we are slowly moving towards renewable energies, and eventually we will reach our solution. But yeah, I'm Christian Todd, and I'll see you guys in the next Zoom class. Okay, bye.